Hi guys, welcome to Angolra, Hangolva. I'm Tinda, and this is the next episode of the 7 magical language skills. Today, we are going to deal with the pronunciation part. In fact, it's not officially a skill, but let's call it a skill now, because obviously once it comes to improving a language, not just English, but any foreign language, your pronunciation and the improvement of your pronunciation is vital. I don't know how much effort you put into this skill, but I know so many students suffer from this skill actually, and therefore I collected some tips and tricks on boosting your pronunciation. Now let's see them one by one, and obviously I'm curious about your opinion. The very first one is actually simple. You need to listen to native pronunciation as much as possible, because by that, the right patterns can be copied, especially when you start to practice imitating and copying the same pronunciation. So number one, listen to English as much as possible, okay? Therefore, you can boost your pronunciation. Secondly, you need to be aware of those new sounds in English that are not existing in your mother tongue. For example, to tell the truth or the. Therefore, you should always practice these new sounds as well. The third one is connected with this one, and that is saying the new words out loud. Especially if you heard the right pronunciation, try to pronounce exactly the same way, with the same stress, with the same intonation. And practicing out loud is inevitable when it comes to improving your pronunciation. So always say them out loud. Also, many times when there are tricky words regarding the pronunciation in English, it's important to slow down and try to say them syllables by syllables. For example, conscientious before saying conscientious, or spacious, because there are some tricky words, as I said, and if you try to pronounce them exactly the same way and quickly, probably you will fail, and therefore slowing down is always a good strategy to learn the right pronunciation of the difficult words. Number 5 is imitating the stress and the intonation, not just regarding words, but also sentences. Sentences will have different patterns. For example, some words are weakly while others are strongly pushed or stressed or pronounced. And therefore, it's vital and it's essential to listen to such texts and imitate them, okay? The stress is something which is hard sometimes because, for example, in Hungarian, the first syllable is stressed in a word. But in English, it's not necessarily like that. So try to listen to these differences. The next tip is recording your own voice. And you can listen to your own voice. I know it sounds scary, but it's an extremely good exercise on checking, in fact, how your pronunciation is, especially if you ask for feedback from competent people, let it be a teacher or a native speaker. Okay, obviously you can learn from the feedback of the words. Number 7 is reading out loud. Reading out loud will help you to, again, pronounce words in sentences, to practice the intonation, the weakly, strongly pronounced words, for example, in sentences. So many people don't do this, but as a language learner, I would prescribe it to everybody. Okay, number 8 is definitely check out the pronunciation of new words. When, for example, you encounter any new words in English, check out the right pronunciation. You know, there are loads of dictionaries on this, monolingual or even bilingual ones, and then imitate the right pronunciation. Don't assume that, I guess it's pronounced like that, because you will probably mispronounce it. Always check. The next one is a technique called shadowing, which means that you have a text that you listen to several times. Most of the time, these are texts from native speakers, and then you try to practice it actually the same way. Therefore, if you practice it enough, you can copy the same patterns. Afterwards, you need to show the text, the recorded text, to a competent person again. For example, the native speaker who was reading the text itself, or a teacher, and ask for feedback for correcting your pronunciation mistakes. It's a highly effective method. The last but one is kind of funny technique. It's singing. Music can help so many language learners improve their language skills, especially if they not just listen to the song itself, but they also sing it, especially if you like singing. I don't like my own voice when I sing, for example, but in this case, we can also improve our pronunciation. So try it out if you haven't. And last but not least, I would recommend you to collect your recurring mistakes based on your pronunciation. We have talked about the fact that once you get feedback from others regarding your pronunciation, you can collect them and make them conscious by practicing the right one. Now, there we are. I hope you found some of these techniques useful and you will put them into practice. That will distinguish you from the average learners because you will apply them in practice. I'm curious about your techniques. How are you improving your pronunciation in English? Please share it below and give us some tips or tricks on your methods. Thank you very much for your attention. If you like this video, you can give me a thumb up and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next episode. Take care and bye.